Hello, and welcome back to this new video. This video is a compilation of all the fights that we had during the tournament, starting, of course, with the first eliminations and ending with the finals and our end brawl. And yeah, it's just a collection of all the fights. We had some really nice fights, and yeah, I would also like to say thank you to all the people who helped organizing this and who helped to run it and who spent ISK and Plex and all that stuff, because many people supported it, and I was really happy to see how many people enjoyed this. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I will definitely do it again sometime soon. And yeah, thank you to all the people who joined and helped fight. And thank you also to all the people who wanted to join but couldn't because it was in the middle of the night or because of Wi-Fi aggro and all that stuff. And yeah, it won't be your last chance. We will do this again next time, maybe even with a loser's bracket, so people have guaranteed more than one fight, because it was a bit sad. First people who died immediately were out of the game. But yeah, I actually already did it this time, so that the first person that got eliminated after the first fight got all the loot from the others in the end, just as a bit of a prize for being the first one out, you know. So yeah, I think that's all, and I'd say we should get into the fights. And I hope you enjoy watching as much as we had during that evening full of fights and fun stuff. So yeah, let's jump right into the fights. So here we are with the first fight of the first round elimination bracket. This is Lily Endel in the Rifter versus Nyota in his Punisher. And of course it is an autocannon Rifter, and the Punisher is RT fit, quite tanky with an armor wrapper, and dual web no prop. So immediately we see the Rifter pulling range from the Punisher. Lily said he thought the Punisher was autocannon fit, so he wanted to try to outrange him, but of course that allowed perfect application on the artillery from Nyota. So we see big hits going out onto that Rifter, and it's already hitting hull, while the Punisher is still tanking very strong. The Rifter is now armor wrapping and slowly getting closer to the Punisher again, so the RT will struggle more with tracking now, but still there are some good hits incoming, and the dual web really helps a lot with the RT application. The Rifter is back up to about 50% armor, but it's still getting big hits every few seconds, and it can't avoid all the damage, so it's slowly bleeding more and more hull, while the Punisher is still tanking very strong. The Punisher is known for its crazy tank, and this particular fit also has an armor wrapper, so it's really extremely tanky. Now the Rifter has about 20% hull left, and yeah, one more volley takes it down, and with that Nyota goes into the next round. Next up we have a mirror match from Dragon versus Bobby Lee McGee. Two breachers, and immediately we see big damage coming out from both sides. And yeah, both these breachers are multiple ansel fit. I think Dragon is even triple ansel fit, 2 shield ansels and 1 armor ansel, while Bobby is, I think, just dual shield ansel. But yeah, both are really tanking a lot, but also taking a lot of damage. And yeah, now we see the armor wrapper from Dragon also taking its effect at the same time to its shield boosters. And at the moment it looks pretty bad for Dragon, because he's already quite low in hull, but now that Bobby is out of shield booster charges, or pretty much out of them, he dies in a few more volleys. This was a really close fight, and to be honest I thought Dragon would lose, but yeah, he took this one. And then the next fight we got, again, a Breacher versus an Incursus in this time. And immediately the Breacher will try to pull range from the Incursus, because Incursus blaster damage hurts a lot up close. And the Breacher needs to tank a lot immediately. And again we see the medium ansel shield boost plus the small ansel wrapping a ton. The Incursus is now hitting armor, but of course the Incursus with its strong tank bonus can wrap almost all its armor in one go. But the Breacher is now slowly pulling range from the Incursus, so the damage from the Incursus will eventually drop, but at the moment the Breacher just has to face tank it, and that's not really looking good. And yeah, with one more volley he goes down, while Corsair is still comfortable at about 50% armor. Here for the next fight we have Serpent Power, the streamer, versus the Charmobog in his Atron. And again, this time the Kestrel wants to pull range from the Atron, but the Atron has a very high base speed, so it will be able to stay close to the Kestrel. But unfortunately, this fight went very quick Serpent's way, because Charmobog, he also said it in local, he forgot to deactivate his safety, so he couldn't shoot back for most of the fight. So we decided to rerun that fight. Again, the same ships, Kestrel versus Atron, but this time with the safety settings correct. Unfortunately, I didn't have Serpent locked from the start, that's my bad. But we see, now that I'm locking Serpent, we see that the Atron is doing a lot of damage to the Kestrel already, but it's the Atron itself is already in half health, so it's going to be very interesting. This Kestrel is shield buffer fit, so its armor is going down rapidly, and now the Kestrel dies, and the Atron dies. This was actually a tie, because the Kestrel's missile got fired before it died, so both died. And yeah, that's a crazy thing that happens very rarely. We wanted to rerun the fight then again, because it was a tie, but Charmobog decided that he thought Serpent deserved the win more. So yeah, that's what happened. Here in the next fight we have an Autocannon Rifter versus a Beam Tormentor. And the Beam Tormentor is pulling range from the Rifter to mitigate some damage, but the Rifter Autocannon have pretty good range, so the rather weak tank of the Tormentor is really having a lot of problems, and it dies before the Rifter is even hitting half armor. That was a really quick fight. And here we are with the next one. Space Muffin in his Atron versus Doof in the Condor. And if this is a Newton Condor, it could do a lot of damage to that Atron, but we immediately see a lot of damage going on to the Condor. I think Space Muffin had Caldari Navy Antimatter loaded, so his range and shacking was really good. And before the Newt could really take effect from Doof, the Atron, Space Muffin takes him already down. And yeah, this is the next fight. This fight, as you can see, is on 4 times speed, because it took ages. We have Tristan versus Punisher, and this Tristan is Newting fit. But the Punisher has a medium cap battery and 2 armor repairers, so it can tank forever. And yeah, the Tristan is now pulling range from the Punisher, just leaving its drones as DPS on the Punisher while it's reloading its armor wrapper to get some tank back. Because it has full range control on the Punisher, of course, because this Punisher has 0 range control with all the cap modules in the mid slots. So yeah, there's not much happening for a long part of this fight. And yeah, eventually we had to bring out the tiebreaker for this fight. And the tiebreaker is, in this case, a Sentinel that will apply newts to both the Tristan and the Punisher. And yeah, the Punisher now can only defang the Tristan's drones and not do much else, because it doesn't really hit the Tristan very well. And even though it looks like the Punisher is slowly losing its armor, it can, without a problem, rep all the way up again. So yeah, there's not really much happening. The Tristan now, with the answer reloaded, went back in to try to nude out the Punisher again, but this only caused it to lose a lot of hull. And yeah, it had to pull range again, because the newts were not enough to really make the Punisher struggle with cap. And now the Sentinel, Luca is flying the Sentinel, is on grid now, and is applying newts to both of them. But the newts still did not have the effect we wanted, because, well, the Tristan couldn't grab anymore, and the Punisher could still tank. So in the end, this fight that was kind of a tie, we declared as a win for the Punisher, because the Tristan was way more damaged, so we thought that would be a good call. The Punisher couldn't do damage to the Tristan, but the Tristan could also not break the Punisher, so yeah, nothing happened. And yeah, the clip is going on for a bit more now, but yeah, nothing really more happened. Maybe if the Tristan still had more tank, it could have neutered together with the Sentinel and then broken through the Punisher. But like this, it is already neutered out itself, and it doesn't have cap boosters anymore, so the Tristan is actually struggling more under the Sentinel neuts than the Punisher. And for that reason, we declared the Punisher as a winner. fight is over. Then the next fight we have myself versus Maya, because for the new player bracket we had a few people sign up, but unfortunately only Maya could attend, so I decided so Maya would get a fight, that I would take my hauling out that has only like 6 million skill points and not really skills for anything good, that I would go up myself against Maya in this alt. And I immediately pulled range from the Blaster Punisher just to force a reload and then get close again to hopefully force a double reload. And yeah, I definitely make some mistakes in this fight. I overheat my afterburner once, well, to pull range, but I also overheated to get close again. And yeah, here we see a lot of damage coming in, because even though Maya is on long range ammo at the moment and has to switch now, while I was approaching I still got very good hits in. And now I hope that my Newt will do enough, and at this point I didn't see that I had her neuted out, because had I noticed that I would have stayed close, but like this I decided to pull range again, not noticing I had neuted her out. And this is where I do my big mistake. I'm still overheating my afterburner, and I have thermodynamics 1 on this character, so heat damage is an issue, and I burn my afterburner. And this was really bad. I was so angry at myself, because burning a module is such a bad reason to lose a fight, and yeah, I was quite annoyed at that. Now I tried to well, to nude Maya out and to hopefully do more damage with her missiles at this range than which she can do with her blasters. So I manually lower my speed and let her get closer. But what I didn't notice at this point, well, now I noticed, is that I also have terrible rocket range skills on this character and only 4.5 kilometer flight range. So yeah, I'm not really able to outrange the blasters. So now I use a technique. I'm not sure if it has a name, but I just fly away from the Punisher in a straight line, because this will give my missile some extra range and will hopefully allow me to hit further than the 4.5 kilometers that I technically have. But I'm also now in range of my Newt a bit more, and it can take a bit more effect. And yeah, but she is playing as well now, and I know that I'm gonna lose this DPS race at this range. I look at the ship a bit to see where she is flying, and at the moment she's still approaching to me, and you see my web is also really toasty, so I can't really overheat anything anymore. I'm also in graded of my guns right now, and me trying to hit outside of my range is not really working at the moment. I get few occasional hits in, but it's not really a lot. And my Newt is also very ineffective at this range. You see only 10 gigajoules neutralized. It's really not doing a lot. I drop my webs to let her get close again, and now I get a few more big volleys, and I know I need to do something, because I'm not gonna win this battle at this range. And yeah, I can just keep flying away, but now she does a really good job, and she starts flying away from me, so my webs drop, and this causes me to have to approach to her again, and of course she has full range control, because I burnt my prop, so I can just hope for the best. And she flew away from me for a while, and you'll see in a second, there she goes, she is approaching me again, and I'm doing the same thing. And this causes me to fly right into a web range, get way too close to a blaster ship than I want to be. And I decide that the only chance I still have is to hopefully get close, nuke her out, and win the fight like that. But of course, when approaching in a straight line, I will take a lot of damage. So I'm also hitting my guns and my Newt to hopefully get through the rest of the tank. But yeah, I'm taking the big hits, and I can just hope to hopefully nuke her out in time, and hope that I can somehow mitigate some form of damage when orbiting close. But yeah, I'm definitely not used to flying low skill point characters anymore, and I should definitely do that a bit more, because it's good training. And now you see, I have renewed it out, so I thought, maybe I can still win this fight. But she did a really good job here, and kept spamming her guns to get the every few seconds get a shot off while my Newt was cycling, because cap regen is just enough to keep the guns running for a bit. And now I'm hitting armor, so this is gonna be really close. I offline my shield extender to reduce my signature radius, make it harder to get hit. But yeah, I'm taking big hits still. I thought of pulling range again here, but while pulling range she would get even better application and tracking, so I would take even more damage when trying to fly away, so I could just hope that like this it would work. Now I start manually orbiting to get even closer, even faster around her, and hopefully make her blasters not track me. But it's too little too late, and I go down with one more volley. And that was really, really exciting fight. I definitely have to fly more Tier 1 stuff again. So yeah, with that, Maya won the new play of Bracket, because I was the only contender against her. Here in the next fight, we have Punisher versus Heron, which is quite funny because I hoped someone would fly a Heron, and Maria de Teis actually did. So yeah, we see Heron with rockets and drones doing the DPS to the Punisher, while the Punisher is struggling to apply at this range. But I think TW is currently reloading his ammo, so yeah, there you see big hits on the Heron again, so I think that the switch of ammo allowed the Punisher to get better damage on the Heron again. And if I'm not incorrect, I think this Punisher is blaster fit, but I'm not sure. It might also be autocannon fit, I couldn't see there. But it definitely has enough range to still do damage to the Heron, even though the Heron has a tracking disruptor. And well, it's super tanky. And yeah, okay, those are actually autocannons, I think. I can't tell. They might be RT as well, I don't know. But yeah, the Punisher is tanking the low Heron DPS without much issues anyway, so yeah, the Heron has to use lots of its shield wrappers, and eventually it will run out of cap boosters and will not be able to tank anymore. So as long as the Punisher can tank long enough, the Heron won't be able to win this, especially because the Heron doesn't get a missile range bonus. Of course, it's an exploration ship, so the rockets, well, Maria has to stay very much closer then. That's good, because otherwise the rockets won't do any damage. And yeah, we see the big hits still going on the Heron, and it is still trying to wrap, but yeah, it goes down. But I really appreciate that someone brought a meme fit and joined in that, so yeah. Okay, so here we are in the second elimination round, because yeah, now we decide who goes into the half finals, and we have again Cucumber in his super tanky Punisher against Space Muffin, this time in a very high DPS Kestrel. So at the first few seconds we saw that the Punisher was taking a lot of damage, and it almost hit hull, but then it could activate both its rappers and start tanking again. But it's doing 0 damage to Space Muffin at the moment, because he's having a good time jumping back and forth, avoiding the artillery hitting. So Space Muffin, after a first hit, is actually starting to regenerate shield now, while the Punisher has to tank with all it has. And this Punisher has an armor wrapper, a small armor wrapper too, and an Ansel. So once the Ansel will run out of charges, it will struggle with tank a bit more against this 220 DPS rocket damage. So yeah, the Kestrel might be able to eventually break through. Maria also had the smart idea to maybe load Mjolnir on the Kestrel to show lower damage, and then reload again, and to Nova, and then apply maximum damage. And I'm not sure if Space Muffin actually did that, but that could have been a good idea and a good call to break through the armor wrapper by just surprising with how much DPS there is. But this match again will go into the tiebreaker. So Luca is already warping off to get the Sentinel. And yeah, at the moment Space Muffin is back to almost full shields at 97%, while the Punisher is still tanking very well, so this match will again take quite some time. And yeah, of course in this fight, because the Kestrel can still shoot without cap, the Sentinel will be much harder on the Punisher than on the Kestrel. So the only thing the Kestrel has to be careful of when neutered out by the Sentinel is to not get hit by the artillery, because it will lose its afterburner and its webs as control against the Punisher, while the Punisher will only lose its armor wrapper, but it still has a lot of buffer. And here we see Luca landing now with the Sentinel, and I think it's Gigon who also volunteered to get a Sentinel, so we have 2 Sentinels on grid, so we can really put that new pressure on them. Oh wait, Luca is not yet back in the Sentinel. Still looking if the Kestrel can't break through it normally, but it doesn't look like it. And yep, but the Kestrel is not getting hit at all, so it's just basically a tie, which is why we had to get the Sentinels in. I thought of what we could do to make a tiebreaker, and I thought about checking disruptors or other mean stuff, but the best thing that I came up with is the newts, because it just has a big effect on every ship to lose all its active modules. And yeah, now we see the both Sentinels landing and the red effect from the newts start taking place, and they will make quick work on Frigate cap, of course, so both will lose their prop mods, active modules soon. And as you see, the Punisher is already bleeding hull, and it is breaking. Under the huge pressure from 220 DPS Kestrel rocket damage, it couldn't keep up long. And here we are with the next match, TW in a Breacher versus Lockstock, again in the autocannon Rifter. We see damage going on from both sides immediately, and but the Breacher is not tanking very well. It is now starting to shield grab, well, shield boost, but it already lost a lot of hull, and it goes down shortly after. And this was actually because TW was flying a very brave fit polarized Breacher that had like 250 DPS, but basically no tanks, so that was a really, really close fight. And I think this is actually the best fight of the whole evening. We have Nyota and his Kestrel versus Dragon in the Breacher. It is a buffer Kestrel, shield buffer Kestrel, with dual ballistic control systems, and Dragon is flying again the triple Ansel Breacher with 2 medium shield boosters and 1 small armor repairer. And yeah, the Kestrel is pulling range from the Breacher, because the Kestrel has a range bonus that the Breacher does not have. So the Breacher will struggle with range, but it has, of course, the advantage of the drones that can still do damage at range. And for some reason, Dragon misclicked at the beginning, fat-fingered his guns, and didn't activate them. So this fight was, well, it was actually a bit closer than it should have been, because Dragon didn't activate the rockets right away. And now Dragon does way better than I did before. What I tried to do in the fight Condor versus Punisher, he is flying away from the Kestrel, and like that he can still do damage, even though it's technically out of his range. And now he's also deploying drones again. But now both are in range again, and the brawl goes on. But the Kestrel, you see, it's incredibly tanky on buffer, while the Breacher has to go through its Ansel charges to keep up. The thing is, of course, the Breacher has a faster speed than the Kestrel, so it can technically pull range and reload its Ansel, but of course only as long as it has cap boosters left in cargo hold, which will not be that long. And now we actually see it the other way around. Now Nyota is pulling range from the Breacher, and like that you can see that his missiles still apply while the Breachers do not. And I love how you see the missiles disappear just before they hit the target. It looks so good. And yeah, now Dragon is, I think, reloading to long-range ammo to then apply damage again in a second. I'm not sure why he was not using his drones. Maybe he just forgot, or I mean, it's pretty exciting to be in the half-finals. Well, no, quarterfinals. I don't know. So maybe he just forgot to use drones, or Nyota was actually shooting the drones, which was why Dragon had to recall them. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think Dragon is trying to get close now again, get that web back on the Kestrel, and hopefully apply rocket damage again. But the Kestrel has reloaded 2 Javelin missiles now and is doing a lot of damage. And there we can see the missiles from the Breacher are disappearing before they hit the Kestrel. This tells us that he is still using Rage rockets, which gives him the DPS advantage if he can get in range, because Noyota doesn't really have the time again to switch from Javelin back to Rage. But you see both are shooting Mjolnir, and now I lost lock on the Kestrel, which was terrible on my part. I apologize for that. I did not notice I was so far away from the Kestrel, and the locking range on the Treasure Fleet is terrible, and now I also lost lock on the Breacher, so I didn't catch what was happening here for a second. But in my watch list you can see that Dragon is now tanking on armor because he's out of shield boosters. I'm now really fast trying to get back into range, but it will take a second. So now I scroll up so you can also see Noyota on the watch list, and you see he's out of shield at the moment. So Dragon managed to use his higher Rage Rocket damage to get further ahead in the DPS race, and now the Kestrel is hitting half hull, while Dragon is barely still tanking on his armor wrapper and is already bleeding into hull as well. And with one more volley, finally the Kestrel goes down and the Breacher takes that win and goes with that in the half finals, which was really, really close. And here is the second fight to decide the half finals. Space Muffin in a Kestrel versus Lowsec in a Rifter. And this is again a buffer Kestrel with dual web and dual ballistic control against the RT Rifter from Lockstock, because he changed from autocannons to RT right now. He is dual web afterburner RT fit, which is actually a fit I like to fly as well. It's like a Tormentor just in Rifter form with more tank. But you see the Kestrel is doing a lot of damage to the Rifter, and it's bleeding into hull slowly through its armor wrapper. But this Kestrel is shield buffer fit, and the RT is now chunking really hard through the Kestrel's remaining tank, and it goes down with the Rifter in half hull. So with that we have our half finalists, and now we just have this second to last fight, which is deciding third and fourth place between Space Muffin and Noyota, and then we go on to the finals. Atron vs Punisher. This is again the RT Punisher from Noyota, the very tanky one, versus standard dual web Atron. And yeah, by the way, nobody fitted scrams, of course, because MWDs are not allowed, and neither is warping off, so no need to fit scrams, and everyone could fly dual web. That's why we saw that so often today. And we see that after a first volley, the Punisher is not applying at all with its RT anymore. Even though it's dual web, the very high base speed of the Atron allows it to orbit 500 and not get hit by that RT. And yeah, from this you can also see who taught me the technique of orbit 500 and win, which was actually Space Muffin. He taught me so much about Frigate PvP. He's, I'd say, one of my best friends, and I really appreciate all the stuff he taught me. And yeah, we see the Punisher is slowly but surely going through its armor and its armor wrapping, but it's not really going to be enough against the Atron, especially because it cannot do anything against the Atron that is orbiting close and not getting hit by that RT. So over time the Atron would definitely win this fight. And yeah, we see the Punisher is heading towards hull, and unfortunately something happened now, and Space Muffin burned his guns. It's quite funny because he would definitely have won this fight, but with the burned guns he's unable to continue fighting, and with that the Punisher wins the fight. Space Muffin now stops moving, so the Punisher can get application and kill him, because there's no way the Atron can still win. And yeah, he took it well though, Space Muffin, and yeah, GF in local, he says, and yeah, now he's just taking the loss like a man and dying to the RT Punisher while not moving anymore. He just gives the Punisher a chance to finally hit him now and kill him. But he actually interrupted the fight before Space Muffin died, because there's no need to lose a ship, and I plan to do an end brawl at the end where everybody would get their ships and shoot whoever was left, so I told Space Muffin to warp off. And now we are with the last fight. This is for all the marbles, this is for all the prizes, 2 billion ISK and Plex, the skins and a Marshal. This is Dragon versus Lockstock, Kestrel versus Rifter. Again, it's the RT Rifter against the Kestrel, but this time I thought it was again a shield Kestrel, but here's the twist, it's an armor Kestrel. It's an armor plate, dual web tracking disruptor Kestrel. I'm not sure what his 4th mid-slot was, but it was something evil, I'm sure. And this time we see that the Kestrel is currently winning this DPS race, because the Rifter is closer to hell than the Kestrel is, but the Kestrel has no way of repairing its armor, so every little bit of EHP that goes down will not be able to be regained. And Dragon is putting range from the Rifter now, but the Rifter is RT fit, so even at this range it can still do damage, while the rage rockets from the Kestrel will not apply at this current time. So Dragon is forced into a reload, and here we see the Javelin missiles now doing some damage again to the Rifter, but the RT will still do damage even at this 20km range, and Dragon is almost out of armor and now hitting hull, and he is losing more and more hull now. He's in a half hull and doesn't look like he will be able to regain enough armor again, or win the DPS race by shooting enough armor of the Rifter, and with that the Rifter takes the win. And Lockstock is the winner of this tournament, so congrats mate, that was really well done. I'm very happy that you won, and yeah, of course I want to say thank you again to all the participants. Here is, by the way, the end brawl. Everybody's just warping in. By the way, I'm flying a meme fit Blackbird here that I got from Bjorn B. It's dual web, small blaster, XL ASB fit, and I just lock every frigate that comes close and start shooting. Now I start shooting Luca to just, well, have some fun, shoot everyone. And yeah, while we do that, I can still talk a bit more about the tournament. So yeah, Lockstock of course won the first prize, and then Dragon won the second prize of course, and then for 3rd and 4th place Noyota won, so Noyota gets the third place. God, I can't talk. And Space Muffin got onto 4th place like that. So yeah, while you can watch me in the background not managing to use an XL ancillary shield booster correctly and shoot all the frigates that shoot me, I'm probably gonna end off this video with that. And yeah, I'm very happy about how many people joined, and I hope that everyone who was there had as much fun as I did, because that was a great evening and I really enjoyed this. And I will definitely run this again, and yeah, I really had a lot of fun, and would love to do this again in the future and more often and more of that, because it's just a lot of fun to do T1 frigate brawls, I think, and it gives a lot of space for creativity. Next time we will change some rules to keep it interesting, but yeah, and then this final clip is just a 1v1 I had against the against the Merlin. I didn't know how much less they wanted to talk in the outro, so I added that fight. And yeah, it's just Condor versus Merlin. I'm orbiting him close to hopefully nuke him out, while his blaster will have some trouble hitting. I get a bit nervous now though, so I'm preparing my orbit for 4500 to maybe outrange him, if I have to, and if I'm struggling too much on tank. And yeah, but for now I'm fine. Now I decide to go on further out orbit, and yeah, let my nuke take its effect, to then in the end go close again for the kill. And yeah, now I see the web drop, the neutralizer man is lower, and I know he is completely neutered out, and I can get close again and finish him off. And his pilot did the same that Maya did. He's still spamming his weapons to get the occasional hit in, but it's not going to be enough to break through the rest of my shield, and yeah, he's going to die. But yeah, thank you all for watching this video, and hopefully see lots of you in the next tournament. And yeah, with that, I'm gonna end the video. Have a good day, and yeah, bye bye.